from Anchorage, Alaska. We got some wonderful steaks. I reheated them in the air fryer just before I got started today. I didn't want to put everybody through the misery of me just reheating something in the air fryer. Plus, that air fryer is a little bit noisy. I really like it. I enjoy it. It did do a good job at reheating these steaks. It only took about 4 to 6 minutes. I kind of screwed up. I put some sriracha on my plate, and we really don't need sriracha with these with this type of steak. But yesterday I did mention that I went out and I did some filming here around the Anchorage area. Hi Amber, I appreciate you showing up to the room. But I did some filming around the Anchorage area, and I went to Mountain View, which is considered one of the most dangerous hoods here in Anchorage, Alaska. I wanted to share that with everybody and see what people's thoughts and opinions were, and also start creating some more content outside of the carnivore realm. But since I started losing so much weight, I could actually get out and do these things, and I do enjoy, getting outside and sharing Alaska as it is, because so far I haven't been very good at, sharing stuff outside of the house. I do the majority of my videos here right at the kitchen. I love doing these live streams, connecting with everybody. Sunshine, Alaska, I appreciate you showing up. Let's see, 24 inches into maybe that's 24 hours into a fast. Oh, that's a bummer. You can sit here and watch me eat steak. I just reheated some of that. Mountain View is a different type of community here, and I've always found it incredibly interesting, especially the overall stigma around Mountain View itself, because it's a very old community here in Alaska. And I've always been told numerous times that it's a dangerous community, stay out of there, don't go there. I've had many construction projects for beautification and stuff like that have took me into the Mountain View community. Never really had a problem. I've had problems in a neighborhood not too far away from Mountain View, but one that's called Fairview. Now, it's just because there's just lots of roaming drug addicts, and they have these little hidey holes off to the side. And I'll probably do a video on Fairview as well. But it's basically like a POV type video where we just drove around in the car. I have an Insta360 camera, so I can kind of adjust how it pans around after I've done the recording. So it's actually pretty as close to real time as I can get it. It's not overly edited. There's not a whole lot of fancy effects. It's just us simply taking a ride, me talking about, kind of like stuff like this, or that adventure we took up on the hillside, but it's actually going to give a wide view of what's going on. So I don't know, hopefully that's the thing. There's other YouTubers here in the Anchorage area. They're doing similar videos, and they have tremendous viewership, because people are curious about Anchorage areas. They're curious about Anchorage neighborhoods. And one of my biggest questions has always been, even before I moved up here, is, hey, how do these people survive? And that goes from the rich to the poor to the middle class. Anchorage is one of those more expensive places, and the same questions would be in my mind if I went to different places in the country, like Hawaii, for instance. How do they survive? Why is there such a big homeless population in Hawaii? I mean, those are questions I would ask. I would ask the local people and try to figure it out. My cat's over here trying to get her tail into my food. But yeah, I mean, it's just always been stuff that's interested me. Now, when I lived out in Wasilla, something that my mom and me and my brothers and whoever I was with at the time, we drive around and we'd check out all these old Alaskan homes. Now, in the last 15 to 16 years, a lot of those old homes, the ones that just made you sit back and go, whoa, people live in that? That's pretty cool. I mean, they were building homes out of next to nothing. Some of these homes were built out of shipping containers, Connexes. I've delivered many Connexes and set them up out in places like Willow, where Bill Knott lives. And we've actually stacked them up on top of one another, sometimes 4 to 6 of them. And they built 2 to 3 story homes out of Connexes, and then they sided all of it and put windows and doors in. You can't even tell that's a container home, which is it just baffles me. It's like, wow, they work. And at that time, the containers, you could get them, relatively inexpensive. And they just ship them right there, and you just put them up with a crane. It's super fast, super easy way to live. Hey man, what do you think of the transgender craze in Alaska? It's all over, dude. It's not just here in Alaska. I mean, I think it's getting a whole lot more attention than it really needs to get, but it is what it is. I don't worry about it too much. You know, it's all personal preference, in my opinion. It doesn't need to be shoved in someone's face. That's horrible, Susan. I pray for you. Yeah, that's a miserable way to go. Now, Susan says she has cancer and only has 2 months to live. Now, how far along is that cancer? Is that something that can be managed? Is it terminal? I've actually been in homes with serious cancer patients, and they always ask me, how can I live a little bit longer? Sometimes they only need to just wrap up some business, a couple weeks, couple days, maybe 24 hours is all they had left, but they just wanted to live a little bit longer to maybe wrap up some loose ends. And 9 times out of 10, when I asked them, what are you guys eating? Are you eating sugary foods? You're eating a lot of carbohydrates? You're drinking soda pop with high fructose corn syrup? And then we'd get further along down the road, and we'd have the conversation about how that, cancer loves 3 things. And the main thing is sugar, lack of oxygen, and it loves stress. Those 3 building blocks are what cancer absolutely loves. And when we're eating a garbage type diet, high fructose corn syrup, a bunch of seed oils, a bunch of vegetable oils and stuff like that, cancer tends to do its thing. And since 90% of our dietary consumption here in the United States is overly processed food, it's no wonder why so many people are getting cancer now. And it's just boomed in the last 20 years. Prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer, just all kinds of stuff going on there. Let's see, Sam says, bonjour. I want to say hi back to you, Sam. I'm Big John here in Anchorage, Alaska. We talk about all kinds of stuff, a lot of weight loss topics, carnivore stuff, Alaska type topics, because that's where I live. I live here in Anchorage, Alaska. Yeah, Felix says, big hugs to Susan. I appreciate that, Felix. That's loving and that's caring. That's what, the majority of my community that's wrapped around me is they're super helpful. We all want each other to get into better shape, hopefully live a lot longer, and prevent a lot of these preventable cancers. Now, I do believe I read a study on pancreatic cancer, and I think that was the one where they said it was 100% preventable, pancreatic cancer, and that 100% preventable by the foods we eat. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm not 100%, because I read so many different studies on cancer and all kinds of different symptoms of, that people are going through. They tend to just comment in my comments, and they say, well, I got this going on. I'm thinking about doing this or that, maybe doing an extended fast. And sometimes those extended fasts can be dangerous, especially considering not everybody is physically capable to do an extended fast. And that's where your doctor would come in. So anybody that's wanting to do an extended fast, if you have any underlying conditions like cancer, diabetes, Hashimoto's, MS, or something like that, definitely consult your doctor about, hey, is it safe for me to do a fast? Is a fast going to be help, or is it going to, contradict what I'm trying to improve, which is my overall health, and hopefully I'm going to live a little bit longer. Lisa Blessed Life. Hey, how you doing, Lisa? Let's see. In the beginning of this live stream, I was talking about a new playlist I wanted to start, and I'm probably going to dump the video in my Alaska Life playlist, but I wanted to create another playlist for the channel and basically do like neighborhood tours around the Anchorage area, because we got all kinds of neighborhoods around here. We got trailer parks to visit. I did a video yesterday on the most dangerous hood here in Anchorage, Alaska, which is called Mountain View. We have other neighborhoods I can run around and talk about, which is called Fairview. We have the Upper Hillside, which is a live stream I did with you guys. And I'm just trying to figure out a name for the playlist, and I just haven't come up with one yet. So it just might all get dumped into the Alaska Life playlist. And the Alaska Life playlist was the one that we had when we first started the YouTube channel. I mean, this is a collaboration of, videos between myself and my wife. And yeah, we weren't great at making videos. We weren't great at explaining what was going on at that time. We tried our best, but you know, that's just how all this stuff works. Is you got to start small, and you start working your way up, and hopefully things will grow from there. But I don't want to get away from the whole carnivore stuff, you know, 100%, because that's 90% of what my channel is about. Carnivore lifestyle, weight loss lifestyle, better health, better living, you know, talking about health and nutrition and stuff. Your breathing is somehow, sir. I don't know. Your breathing is somehow, sir. I don't know what that means. Alaskan traveler. That's an interesting one. I like that one. Dirk said that. Big man exploring Alaska. Well, that's pretty valid. I mean, just the, and from time to time, I go all over the place. I mean, I'm a truck driver, so once in a while, I'll be here. I do have some footage of down there on the Kenai, where I was driving back from there, driving through Cooper Landing. I have misplaced that footage. I don't know where it went in my hard drive, so I got to try to dig it up. It's really good footage in the summertime, and it shows a lot of the surrounding scenery, and I think I might be able to make something nice out of it. Now, Bill Knott in particular was the one that watched that one video where I was, you know, driving around and narrating, but he really liked it. He enjoyed the heck out of it, and I think he enjoyed it a lot because he's been stuck in that house in Willow for so long. It seems like it's at such a big size, and it's hard for him to get out and explore and move around. So I think he really appreciated that video. And I cannot read this with my glasses on. I got weird vision. I got different types of glasses. These are just regular lenses here, and they're transition lenses. So when it gets sunny, they get a little tint to them. And now I have another pair of glasses just like this, but then they have these crazy, I can't even think of what it's called. Not transitions. It's it's kind of like bifocals, whatever you call that. But when you're driving around with those lenses, it's really hard to drive because you got your regular vision up here for your far sight, and then you got the up close vision down below, and it's a problem. It's a pain in the butt. I need to get some water. I forgot about that before I started. I didn't set myself up correctly to do this today. Oh yeah, that's right. I never do. I'm always making mistakes, but it's okay. And I am munching on it was a very yummy piece of fat. Oh my goodness. Now all these years, I never knew that fat was like gold. You know, the fat that's in these steaks, like the extra fat that most of us used to cut off and throw away, give to the dog. And for the most part, the fat that we gave to the dog was really healthy for the dog. So, oh, my wife's coming in. She rarely does that. She's usually out doing Instacart right now. But yeah, would you like to have a little bit of steak with me, dear?
Yes.
Okay. My wife wants some steak, so I better hook her up. I need to move this. So it's springtime in Alaska. We decided to remove, well, I decided to remove the plastic on some of the windows. Let a little bit more light in the house. And do a regular size plate. And a fork. Probably a knife. Now I heated this stuff up here a little bit ago, so it's not exactly super warm.
It's okay.
But I heated it up in the air fryer. You can go ahead and take whatever you want there. But anyway, weird. I'm not used to my wife being here with me when I'm doing these. So I'm a little out of step here. How can I do this? This is, man, I have to put the camera like back a mile. Here, you take whatever you want, whichever piece you want there. Yeah. I put sriracha on the plate. I wouldn't recommend using sriracha.
Too hot?
No, it's just
doesn't go with it.
Doesn't give it the right flavor. It's kind of annoying. But anyways, all right, let's see what we got going on here. Let's see. Thank you. Felix is talking. I got a cat on the table. I always seem to have a cat on the table. That's pretty normal around here. This one here has been this boy cat of mine. It's been running all over the place lately, doing all kinds of crazy stuff, like it wants to go outside. So I really don't like the idea of putting my cats outside. So let's see. We do have some regular viewers here on the channel today. I just want to introduce, this is my wife, Mylene. She's been doing her own little bit of weight loss. She does like to go to the gym, and she's one of those people that really loves the gym. It works really well for her mental stamina and clarity and her ability to deal with these kids we have. Yes, Dirk, she is very pretty. I love her. Let's see. Hope all is well, friend. Looks great. Yeah, so far it has been fantastic. Now, my wife here, she has been along with me during this entire weight loss journey since 48 weeks ago. And so far, she really hasn't been able to wrap her mind around the fact that this has actually happened to me. Because when she hugs me, she can actually like almost touch her elbows now.
Yeah, I can definitely like interlock my fingers.
That's in 48 weeks of going from like super morbidly obese to, what I look like right now. Now, Carrie's wife, Jen, I think it is, at Homestead How, she posted a short video the other day of her. She just started the carnivore diet, like actually really seriously with her husband, Carrie. And I noticed right off the bat that within the little while that she's actually been doing it, and this is also where I lost a lot of the weight, is right here around the rib cage. I mean, it's noticeable on her. It's like if somebody were to give her a hug and not be used to it, it'd be like, wow, there's a big difference there. Are you stealing my sauce?
Uh-huh.
You can have it. The steak was way better yesterday when we cooked it. It was, but it's still pretty good now. It's still steak. The air fryer didn't really do too much damage to it. It was a little bit rare. I like it really rare, like really, really red in the middle, but she doesn't like it that way.
This piece is definitely rare.
That one?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
going to take
this
this one.
I like the rare pieces. If it's crawling off the plate, yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. I like my meat to crawl off the plate. Nice and seared on the outside, but nice and red on the inside. Oh, hey, I thank you there, Zana. Is that how I pronounce Zana Marie? I just subscribed and liked. I appreciate you. Sunshine, Alaska, what did you say? You attracted something. You snuck it out of there.
Hello, John's wife. Hi.
Yeah, she's saying hi to you there, Sunshine, Alaska. I believe Sunshine either lives in Homer or Kenai. I do have another subscriber from down south. He lives in Juneau. Right on. I pronounced your name. So it is Zana Marie. Zana Marie. Very nice.
I have one in Juneau, too. One that I know of.
So if anybody's interested, my wife also does her own YouTube channel, which is at Real Alaskan Fishing. And I always get yelled at because I always say it wrong. I say Real Alaska Fishing, but it's spelled R-E-E. Anyway, she could say it.
R-E-E-L Alaskan Fishing.
But she likes to take the Insta360 camera out, and she basically has it set up to where it's in her backpack, and there's a stick that goes up, and the Insta360 usually shoots all the way around. So it's a real time-consuming process, similar to the video I made yesterday, and I have it uploading right now. I'm probably going to release that to members only for a day or so, so they can get a chance to view it. So if anybody does want to help support the channel a little bit, it's only a couple dollars a month, but you can have early access to videos if I upload them and have them in the queue before they're released, because it's really not good practice on YouTube to upload like several videos at the same time, because we only get so many slots as far as how our stuff is distributed throughout the entire day. And so that has something to do, because we made that mistake early on. Me and my wife both did. We uploaded a whole bunch of videos, like one after the other, and then I believe YouTube actually sent us a message. They do that at times. They sometimes send you videos saying like, hey, that's not a great idea to post that often. It kind of screws up everything, and we can't really get your content out the way it's supposed to. Felix, do you have reindeer in Alaska? Absolutely. There's a reindeer farm here in Palmer And I believe it was, I was told it was one of my uncles that went and rounded up all the reindeer, caribou, whatever, same difference, but rounded them all up and they brought them to a farm out in Palmer. And Palmer is where you can go and visit the reindeer. They give you a little ride around on a little wagon. They used to have a moose that you could, if you put an apple or something in your mouth, you could like feed it the apple with your mouth. It was a little weird, but that moose unfortunately passed away. Moose don't do well in captivity, and they never really have. What'd you do to that?
All of it is too rare for me.
Oh no, that's horrible.
It's okay. It's delicious, but it's just I think it's more a mental thing for me. It's too red.
It's too red.
It's too red.
You know, I was living and breathing not too long ago. You're not turning vegan, are you?
No.
No
No
way.
way.
A problem. No, she's not going to go. She's Alaskan native, so yeah. She likes killing stuff and eating it just as much as I do. It's kind of what we do up here. Yeah, Dirk said it's not blood. Yeah, what do you call that anyway? It's the red stuff. It's not blood. Donna just jumped in. Hey, Donna, I appreciate you. Well, she's one of my moderators here on the channel. I appreciate her. She's really reliable. She just always seems to show up. Her and Amber are like always. Do you guys do anything at home? And you're just, I don't know. I'm just curious, Donna. I mean, you just scrolling through YouTube, or how do you get the notifications that I'm doing these things? Let's see. If you live in Alaska, it's difficult to survive the child without eating meat. I'm not sure if that's what it said.
Yeah,
well, it's
living in Alaska, it would be pretty much impossible to live a vegan lifestyle.
Yeah, being a vegan up here is possible. I do know some vegans up here. They're most likely horribly cranky and hormonal, but trying to get really good vegan type foods up here, you need to be financially set, if that makes any sense. You have to be able to afford the better things in life. So the vegans I do know live in very expensive homes, like $1 million type homes that I could never even dream of, let alone be considered to mow the lawn. That's how uppity some of these people are. But yeah, I could never even attempt to do the vegan lifestyle here in Alaska. Now, when I did attempt the vegan lifestyle many years ago, it was down in Indiana. There was tons of vegetables, tons of produce down there. You could get it at the farmer's market. The girlfriend I had at that time was, she was big into, vegan lifestyle, no animal, this or that. So I did that for a period of about 7 months. I started having issues right off the bat within the first 2 to 3 months. B12 for one, that was the hardest thing to figure out. I was like, well, B12, and me and her would get into arguments because, she was hormonal. And I was grumpy because I wasn't eating meat anymore, and I was just eating a vegan lifestyle to appease her. I said, well, whatever, you're somewhat healthy, and I'll be somewhat healthy too. And I was a truck driver, so I thought it would have been a great idea. But yeah, lo and behold, it wasn't a great idea. I was having a lot of problems with it. I was constantly constipated. I was having issues with constipation because it was just too much vegetable fiber in there. And we don't digest fiber. Fiber is something we don't digest. It kind of just goes in our gut and gets pushed out. I mean, I don't know what the big stretch is about fiber. And I did have someone mention that in my comments today, that that the carnivore diet isn't great for long term. And we've been finding out, just through trial and error and other people doing the carnivore diet, that it is very much sustainable. People have been living for a very long time eating the carnivore diet. They're just starting to come out of the woods now, because before it wasn't necessarily a socially acceptable type way of eating. And I think that's also why the vegan community likes to push their narrative so much. And that's where it gives me kind of a problem there, because it's so political. It's like you're trying to just force it down your throat. I would never force somebody into trying to just do an all meat diet. I come out here and I talk about it all the time because it's working for me. I mean, this is like what I'm going to eat today right here. I eat steak. I eat the fat. I eat the grizzly parts, the stuff that people used to throw away, give to the dog. Eddie says hi. Dirk says Roy 100%. What does Roy say? Roy Beatty. I would have thought vegans and Democrats would have been long run out of Alaska. No. Now, a lot of the Alaska Native communities are very much so Democrats. And they're that way for a reason. Similar to how we as children, we tend to start out growing up through high school and stuff like that, easily influenced towards, that's a good thing. Taking care of people is a good thing, but there's a back and forth, give and take. And when I was growing up through high school, yeah, I would probably say, yeah, I did not like Republicans, until I got out into the world and I actually started making money. And I started realizing that a lot of these programs and a lot of the things they were doing, they were faking it so they can make more money off of us. And I was like, well, that's not a good idea. I want to keep some of my money. And for some reason, I pay so much in taxes, and that doesn't really account to anything. I mean, so what? You pay taxes. I hear that argument a lot, especially in these events where politicians are getting together and we have a chance to confront them. I hear that a lot in those things, or you have a chance to speak publicly about your opinion. Those people just say, I pay taxes. Well, I look at them like, so what? Everybody does. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that you pay taxes, so you're not going to go to jail. It doesn't really give you a voice just because you pay tax. Let's see. Made me wonder, how do you eat potatoes or rice? I don't eat potatoes or rice. Lost. Carnivore who? Somebody lost their colon. AKA Lee lost his colon due to eating the standard American diet. No, he has no colon and wears a bag. Ooh, yeah, the colostomy bags. Those things are horrible to live with. I used to deliver those to patients. He can tell that meat is fully digested where fiber isn't. Yeah, that would be a problem. I mean, especially if you're in a situation where you have to have a colostomy bag. You can't ingest any fiber at that point because it's not going to pass through the tube. Very dangerous situation there. Now, I used to distribute medical stuff to people's homes. There's a piece of grizzle in that meat. We're going to pay the puppy tax. Here, there you go, puppy. But yeah, that would be horrible to have so much fiber that you couldn't use a colostomy bag correctly. Because when colostomy bags have a malfunction, it's poo everywhere, like down your leg and wherever the bag was. It's no good. Have you ever tried bear meat? I had a big giant piece of bear steak and I didn't cook it correctly. It wound up going bad. After finding out how to cook it, you have to cook bear meat similar to pork. So if you're cooking bacon, you cook bacon and then you cook it some more and then you cook it some more. And the same thing goes for like other pork, pork chops, pork loin. You got to cook it and cook it and cook it. And that's one reason I don't eat a lot of pork, is you have to overcook it. Let's see. Tell your wife, love her shirt. Oh, Donna says she loves your shirt.
Oh, thank you.
She's just wandering around, probably finding something unhealthy to eat because that's what she does.
Cheese stick.
Oh, it's a cheese stick. She's safe. I usually find her getting into something else.
Oh, I was looking.
But that's the hard part about trying to do something like the carnivore diet, a KetoVore diet. Because I started with several different eating principles before I got to this stage. But it's really hard to live in the same house with other people that aren't doing it, because there's all these temptations, especially when I used to be really, really fat and I used to eat all the stuff that's in the pantry. So it just took a lot of time, a lot of patience. And one of the things I used to do was just remove myself from the room, remove myself from the table, go watch TV while everybody's eating. And over time, it gets better. I can actually sit here now at the table when everybody's eating foods that I used to eat and just be social, because I couldn't do that for a period of time. I had to literally extract myself away. Go away, big man. You need to leave the room because it's dangerous for you. And every time that I screwed up and I ate something that they were eating, yeah, I felt like crap for days. Stanford American diet includes everything in the food pyramid and junk food. Well, I think the problem with the food pyramid is that some genius came up with it And, they thought it was a good idea when they started making the food pyramid. But I don't think they were expecting our food to become overly processed, because when we were introduced to the food pyramid, that was before the 1990s. And around the 1990s, in that range, in that area, so mid 80s to year 2000, our food dramatically changed in the supermarkets. Because back in the early 80s and the 70s, I remember food didn't last long, even if it was found in the center aisles. And then all of a sudden we came in with all these weird ingredients to make stuff last longer. Like stuff like Twinkies that lasts forever. I've even seen Twinkies, showing up in like apocalypse type movies, where it's just kind of a joke. Twinkies last forever and they have calories, and it's just like 50 years later type apocalypse. So you feel like sometimes I think that diets are like religion. Now, when I first started looking at carnivore, I had a lot of really negative opinions about it, mainly because I didn't believe it worked. I didn't want to believe it worked at that time. I thought, this is absolute voodoo, this is nonsense, and you'll probably hear me say that a whole bunch of times. My cat Molly is like right next to the camera, so if everything goes crashing over, it's going to be this one's fault, right there. But she wants a piece of meat. Okay, hold on. Get a little sliver off for you. Here. Let's see if she'll take it out the fork. Come on. People can see you, Come on. Oh, it's going to be a butt. Here. Take that. And then go away. Play in the corner. Here. All right. I'll put it in your bowl. She's got a bowl over here. Let's put it in the cat bowl. Now she's going to leave me alone for a minute. That's a cat carnivore diet. Yeah, she loves it when I eat meat. She likes string cheese too, which I found was really interesting. So if you take a little piece of string cheese and give it to her, she loves that. Another thing that this cat particularly likes is yogurt. I don't know why. So when I was eating a lot of yogurt, didn't matter if it was Yoplait or Greek yogurt. But once I started getting into the fattier type yogurts, because it took a while for me to learn that there was ingredients in Yoplait yogurt besides yogurt. I didn't know there were sweeteners. I didn't know the fruit was going to cause a problem. And then I got away from the Yoplait type yogurts. And then she really likes the fattier type yogurts too. So I'd give her a spoonful of that and it would be gone in a few minutes. And she'd usually have a yogurt covered kitty face. Let's see. I just had ribeye with butter. That sounds great. Absolutely, Donna. That sounds amazing. Let's see. How long did it take for your edema to go away when you were losing weight? So, okay. Now I've been doing this for over 48 weeks. Let's see. I would say it got down to a very, very solid, manageable level around week 22 of this weight loss journey. That's when I really started focusing on starting the carnivore diet. I was eliminating more and more and more just to see what was affecting me and what was creating the edema, because it's not always, just stress related or specific. It's really specific foods that create edema. Seed oils for me. So any seed oils, high fructose corn syrup, corn oils, anything inflammatory was creating swelling in my feet and my legs. So yeah, it took a good 22 weeks to figure out up here and then start the process of eliminating stuff. And then I would slowly add things back in, similar to the way that we would feed a small child. After they were born, we're going to test you out on some foods. So we're going to give you a little bit of this and see if you like the peas. And we're going to give you some green beans and you're going to puke on me, and then some broccoli and you're going to throw up. I mean, yeah, see, we got to do it. We got to take it all out, start over just like we're an infant, and then just start reintroducing these things right back into our system. And my wife is over here staring at me like, oh, you're really sitting here talking about this stuff. And I don't know if she's interested or not, but I don't think she is. She's not very interested in my stuff. She definitely doesn't watch it. She's not my biggest fan. It's okay though.
That cat
it's okay.
Eats.
She doesn't have to be my biggest fan. I really don't. I just want to share with people basically what's going on and how it works, just so people can have a really honest opinion as to what to expect, once they get to certain points. Because it seriously took me months to try to figure out, I spent 3 months just researching fasting before I even started my first fast. That's how hyper focused I was before I even got started. So I was constantly just sitting here, mad thumbing my phone, just trying to find out, okay, what does this fast do? What does that fast do? Because I knew for a fact that if I did a fast, I could get some weight loss. I could get some relief in my legs. I had no idea I was going to be losing 90% water weight in a 5-day water fast. I had no idea. I really didn't. I don't even think I fathomed that until after it was gone. You know, once I did a 5-day water fast and I saw 30 pounds come off of that piece of crap spring scale I had, I was just amazed. I was blown away. I was like, all right, I'm hooked. And then I got more interested, and I probably annoyed the hell out of my wife because I was just always on my phone. And wives get mad when you're on your phone. Doesn't matter what it's for. Even if it's for them, they get mad at you. It's like, get off your freaking phone. And then it's just like, okay, you're scaring the cats. They ran away. Let's see. I'm making yogurt right now. Oh, that sounds good.
I just got done eating yogurt.
Felix, kitten carnivore, taxes incoming. Yeah, this one here is this is my carnivore cat. I don't know if you can see her, but
she likes.
There's only so much camera available here when you do it this way.
She likes pepperoni too.
You like pepperoni too? How about this little piece? You want a piece? There we go. Oh, she's gonna take it. She's gonna take this one. She's like, steak is good. Here, go ahead. Now this is our original Mouser cat that we got. So all these cats are working cats. We didn't originally get cats just to have cats and love cats. We got them because we have a 1975 Redmond's trailer. It's a trailer home. It's a mobile home. It's been here a long time in this neighborhood, and there's a lot of little holes where these rodents can come in or out. So originally, she was our main mouser, and she took care of every single freaking mouse in this trailer in about 2 weeks. They were gone because I had traps set up. The mice figured out how to avoid the traps, and it was becoming a real problem. I was worried about these mice contaminating food or getting into stuff and making people sick, because that's typically what happens is mice like to follow their own scent trail as they go. Hold on. She's getting bossy over here. She's like over here forcing me to give her food now. Okay, here. People like watching the cat eat meat. There we go. Well, this cat here will totally devour a mouse and just leave the skeleton laying on the floor. It's kind of creepy. I found one. It was about a month ago. When it got super cold here, usually around January, February in Alaska, it gets ridiculously cold. Like your nipples fall off when you walk out the door. So that's when all the little rodents decide to come in and be a problem. So you got mice, you got shrews. We don't really have rats here. I have heard of a couple rats making it up on the boat, but not very often. We don't have like an infestation like New York City. Those rats were big in New York City. Let's see. It's the feline tax. Yeah, we got the kitty tax. Here's a good piece for you. You might like this one over here. It's really good and red. You want that one? Here. Come. Nope, you got to get in the camera to get it. I'll give it to you. Come here. Come on. Mom's distracting her somehow. She loves this lady. I don't blame her. Oh, there we go. Here you go. Oh, yeah. If I keep this up, we're going to turn into a cat channel, and I really don't want to be a cat channel, so don't make me be a cat channel, please, because I don't want to be a cat channel. I have anxiety about that, because could you imagine just running around? I know people do this. They run around all day long with cameras rolling just to hopefully catch that magical moment, like what a cat does. And then they do these weird compilation videos, and they do voiceovers to try to make the cat sound like it did something that it didn't do. Because cats don't talk. We talk to cats, and then we just pretend they talk back to us. I think everybody does that, right? I mean, I'm not the only one. I have a lot of conversations with this cat. This cat does fun. Oh, watch this. Here we go. Oh, check that out. Oh, yeah. Now, another thing, if you like scroll through these vertical streams right here, eventually you'll come across, I don't know if they're Indian ladies or what they are. I can't understand what language they're talking in, but they're surrounded by these little freaking monkeys, and there's 500 people sitting there watching it. And I'm just like, holy cow, people are I wonder if there's like actually 500 people watching it, or they're just got these bots. you know, to make it look like there's 500, because that's what some channels do. That they hire bots to basically watch what's going on. Oh, you want that, don't you? Come on, you can have it. She's purring. She's like, oh, I love this. Oh well, I'll eat the rest of that one. I don't think I would ever have imagined, you know, 6 months ago that I'd be sitting here at a table eating steak, talking about the benefits of a diet that I had no idea that worked, the carnivore diet. I mean, I heard a lot about it. I heard a little bit about it. I didn't know enough about it to start it correctly. And that was a problem. You know, trying to get the carnivore diet started was actually a lot harder than I thought it was. It doesn't have to be that hard. But since our brains are pre-wired, you know, from being programmed as children up until now, you know, that the fat is bad. You know, we're taught that high cholesterol is bad, LDL is bad. And so far, that's becoming the furthest thing from the truth. So if I were to sit here, and it can be bad, so don't take me wrong there. It can, high cholesterol, high LDL, all the wackadoodle numbers that most of us don't even understand in the first place. And a lot of doctors don't understand it either. It can be bad for you, of course, because it's one of those markers for heart attacks, strokes, and things like that. And as we grew up throughout the years, they demonize fat. They demonize red meat. They demonize eggs. They demonize bacon, all kinds of stuff. And then it got so bad to the point where, and I think this is where the carnivore diet really started to kick off. You know, these healthy people and the world of haters out there, they just hate everything. They hate human beings, I think. They just created so much negative content around everything's bad for you. You know, even the way you drink water. You can go on YouTube and you can just type in the search bar, the best way to drink water. You're going to get confronted with like 10,000 random videos. Some people are going to claim that it's better to drink this water hot. It's better to drink it cold. It's better to drink it warm. Some Asian companies prefer hot water because they say it digests the food differently. Well, you have to consider the type of food they're eating as well, to that aspect of why they drink hot water instead of cold water. So I don't know. Here in Alaska, I love my water cold. Let's see. Hi, Mona. Mona's here. Let's see. What else we got? Yeah. These dogs and cats are developing diabetes because of it. Yeah, the dogs and cats are getting cancer and diabetes. One thing I learned as a rat owner, like I owned a lot of rats as pets. I owned mice, I owned gerbils, I had iguanas. All of my rats died of cancer, and they got huge. They got as big as this cat right here. So I had rats the size of this cat that used to just hang on my neck and crawl all over the place. Super cute, super fun pets. My cats at that time got along with the rats just fine, but they all died of cancer. And they died of cancer because, guess what? I was feeding them rat food. I wasn't feeding, you know, like the type of food you'd go buy at the pet store is full of all kinds of stuff that rats or cats or dogs aren't supposed to eat. So when we buy our pets food, we need to be focused on the ingredients. These dogs and cats were not designed to eat sugary type nutrition. They're not designed to eat grains. They're not designed to eat flour. You know, they are literally designed, you know, cats are designed to eat meat. Come here. Come on. Oh, I'm going to show you off again. Come on. I'm going to get her to come. Here. Come on. Up here. You can do it. All right, fine. I'm going to jiggle the camera. She's being stubborn. Here we go. Here you go. Pretty kitty. There you go. Oh, doesn't that look good? That's like a tiger. Just. Oh, yeah. There we go. I guess I could be a cat channel, huh? You guys want me to be a cat? I don't want to be a cat channel. But here. Hey. All right, I'll give it to you this time. Here, take it. She wants it. I'm going to give it to her. Oh, she took it. Fun times with the cat at the table. Let's see. Pet the cat. She took off. She literally just darted off the table as soon as I read that. She's like, oh, no, you're not going to pet me. Pets are our family members. Yes, they are. Now, she was horrible when I first got her. I think the reason why the person was giving her away was because she was possibly abused. Because when I first got her, she would like try to rip arteries out of my arms. I got so many scars on my arms from trying to handle her early on. But the problem was she wanted to be loving. She just didn't know how. And she had these little tendencies that if you touched her just right in certain spots, she would just turn around and just claw right into you. And that was the hard part about transitioning her to children. Now, when I work with cats, I've worked with a lot of cats over the years, is I usually try to, she's over there trying to do stuff that she's not supposed to. But I usually try to slowly work with them in ways, and if I can get her over here, I can try to explain. But cats are very sensitive right here. And I broke this one in with just a simple process of just patting her. You pat them right here. They love this, by the way. If you didn't know that about cats, because when you go like this, their butt stands up and they do the skunk butt. But if you pat their butt right here, they really, really appreciate this. They like this. They like the attention. You can see her tail is wagging. Absolutely. And then another thing I would do with all of my cats is I would do the basic messing around with them and see what their reactions were. You know, like just simple ear tugs. Now she's pretty conditioned. She will meow, but she's conditioned to this type of behavior over time. And then I would take her paws and I would always pet her paws, try to get her used to this, then rub the underside of her paws. She's nervous. She's camera shy today. But yeah, she's an amazing cat. I wouldn't have a dog or a cat unless I was committed to feeding them meat. And that's a hard one, you know, but you can find some healthier type dog foods and pet foods now. I mean, it is going to cost you a little more. These cats love their soft food. You know, they're more meaty type foods. They absolutely love it, and they demand it. And for the most part, my wife's the one that feeds them that soft food. And I kind of leave it that way because it's their little relationship they have. She's over here trying to get into the plate. Come on, I'll cut you off another piece. Come here. What a brat. She is a brat cat. Okay, there she is. Hey, right here. I'm not being mean to you. Come here. Come here. Oh yeah, there you go. There you go. It's almost as good as eating a mouse. Yep. I never thought my cat would be like the main character in one of my live streams, but whatever. It's entertainment here. I just try to be entertaining and informative as we can go. Do your cats have claws? Absolutely. I would not have a cat without claws unless it came to my house that way and somebody previously removed them. Cats deserve to have their weapons so they can defend themselves, because you never know what's going to happen. And I don't know about you, but if you have like an intruder in the house, and if the cat's the only thing close to me, I'm throwing that cat. The cat's just fine. It'll bounce off. But yeah, they come out like this. So yeah, in the middle of the night, if I got a problem and somebody just randomly pops in and I can't get to my gun, yep, here comes a cat in your face, and it's going to be hard to get it off. Let's see. We have a 13-year-old Pomeranian, and she absolutely loves fish. The funny thing is these cats, and we live in Alaska, they don't particularly like fish. We thought they would love it. They don't like salmon as much. They don't like, even cut up. They don't like it very much. I've tried tuna fish with them. They don't care much for that either. I'm stealing that back. You can't have that piece of meat. I'm going to eat that one. We're going to give that other piece to the dog. This is kind of a grizzly piece of fat. That one's going to the dog. Hey, here you go. Whee! I think my wife disappeared. She's nervous. I got nervous too when I first started making YouTube videos. It was really hard for me to say a complete sentence. Decline. Well, I don't know if it. I couldn't imagine somebody forcing me to take out my fingernails. That would and that's it. Because your fingernails serve a purpose. They're there to help protect your fingertips if something should hit them. So if you get a glancing blow of something and you don't have that, I mean, it's really damaging that whole point there. And the cat's claws are tools, just like our fingernails are tools for almost everything we do. Like if we're trying to open something, like this, for instance, and we don't have fingernails, we stick our fingernail in there and it pops off. Just imagine somebody taking away your fingernails and you're just trying to open that up just with the pad of your finger. How annoying that would be. That would be horrible. I couldn't imagine that. Let's see. Have you tried to give the cat sardines? Yes, I have. Something that they did like is like if I had some of the harder food, I was putting some of the juice like on these little harder food pellets. And this is just the food they eat in between their soft food. And they like it. And it seems to work for them. They're not losing a whole bunch of nasty hair. They're not getting hairballs. And we can tell. Let's see, what kind of meat did you cook, John? I just reheated the steak that I made on yesterday's live stream. If you missed that, it was sirloin steak that I got from a big giant piece of meat at Costco. So it was, I think it was called like top sirloin or whatever. But I chopped that up into like, I think about 15 steaks. The whole piece of meat. I don't know the exact weight, but it was it cost me about $48. So $48 got me over 15 steaks, like really good sized, like really big steaks. And then I had to cut those in half too. So I was pretty happy with that purchase. I'll do it again here before long. But that was the first time I ever processed a large piece of meat like that. And I've never been a big fan of steak until the carnivore diet, like kind of got me more involved. And I feel I've mentioned this to my friends before, and there's other people that have said that there's really not much difference between this meat and the ground meat that we eat. But for some reason, when I eat steak, I just feel better. I mean, I don't know if it's just all in my head, but I just feel better after I eat steak. I feel great after I eat a lot of ground beef too, but I just feel so much better after steak. I don't know why. And I haven't had a lot of steak in the house until just recently. You can watch me hold my fork like a toddler. Well, toddlers wouldn't have a sharp knife, I guess. Oh, okay. Let's see. My cats had a difficult time with sardines because of the salt content. They can only have sardines every so often. I never thought about that. Yeah, they are pretty high in salt. A lot of times the sardines are packed in something that's usually unhealthy, like soybean oil or some sort of vegetable oil. So I like to get my sardines either in, olive oil. If they can come in avocado oil, I would purchase those, or packed in water. All the other stuff I try to stay away from. Now, some of the sardines I've had in the past when I first started, on the keto diet, they were packed in some sort of hot sauce. Now, the hot sauces that they came in were just wrapped up with all kinds of weird stuff and stuff that really wasn't necessarily keto, but since there was so much nutrition in the sardines alone, it kind of deleted out the fact that it had garbage in there. Pet food documentary on the pet food industry. Yeah, pet food industry is horrid. Now, when I lived in Joplin, Missouri, we had a lot of pet food manufacturers right around my house, and they stunk. I mean, the proteins and the chicken. So they would take pretty much like all the bones and leftover scraps from the Tyson plant, when they would bring it over there. They would dry it out and then crush it up, like the bone marrow and all that. And then sometimes they would actually put it in a big pot and kind of cook it down, and then they would dry it again. But it just stunk like poop. Like everything around the plant just smelled so bad. And then that was the food that they would send out for pets. And there are much better ways of making it than doing it that way. They just overly processed it. Is that plane noise in the background? Yes, it is. I have an Air Force base not too far away. And sometimes around this time, we got really clear skies outside. They like to fly the jets, and they kind of bank right over the house here. And then they head on back. And we also have a little runway, not too far, but it's that way. Merrill Field, and the planes fly directly over the home and go to the little bitty airport. And that's the small type of planes. Let's see, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Hey, thank you there, Peter G. I do appreciate you. Let's see, nice to meet you, Felix and Donna. Hey, nice to meet you, Anna Marie. I do appreciate you dropping in. I look forward to chatting with y'all again, and hopefully soon. Now, Donna, I don't, like, until work starts picking up, I'm going to keep doing these live streams, kind of randomly. I don't have a scheduled time. I might get an inkling like, hey, I'm going to hang out with you guys today. And this is basically what we do. We just kind of hang out. We have these conversations. A lot of times it brings in new people that just randomly see the streams, and they're just like, hey, what's this guy about? He's actually talking. And I've been scrolling through these vertical live streams for an hour, and all I see is a bunch of stuff and weird stuff. And like, why is this person doing that. And that's what happens when I scroll through the vertical live streams myself. So I try to put myself a little bit above. I also try to keep the conversations going. I don't like just having a camera just sitting there and this is all you get to look at. I mean, that's boring. I mean, people that do that stuff drive me nuts. It's like, why? But the weird thing is sometimes these people that do stuff, like they just turn on these lives and they're just, facing a doll. And I don't know what the whole point of this is, but there's just a live stream like this facing a doll for hours. And there's 120 people up in the stream. It's like, why and who possessed them? There's no music. There's nothing going on. And sometimes they use this little bubble animation. We can do that too, which is weird, but I don't get it. I live next to dog food factory. Sometimes it's okay, but lately it's a sickly sweet smell. Oh, yeah, I know the frustration of living downwind from a dog factory, or a dog food factory. Yeah, I lived in a little town outside of Joplin, Missouri called, it looks like it's spelled Dunaweg, but it's pronounced Dunaweg. And it was a really nice town, really nice church-loving town. I liked it until I got a ticket. And my ticket that I got was because I had cat food sitting on my porch. And then these stray dogs started getting into the cat food sitting on my porch. And then I got like a $75 ticket because the dog came by, ate the cat food. And they gave me a ticket for having a loose dog. And it wasn't even my dog. I explained to them, I said, well, that's a stray dog. And they said, well, the dog was eating out of your bowl. Yeah, long story. I mean, I was so glad to move out of the lower 48 because it was just nonstop nonsense like that really drove me out of the lower 48. Because there was always a law against anything in my entire life that I ever tried to do to have fun. When mountain bikes first became a thing, me and my friends would take our mountain bikes. Well, guess what? We'd go to the mountains and we wound up getting a ticket for riding a mountain bike on a trail on a mountain. So there's another $75. And then we have all these footpaths all over the place. Like here in Anchorage, we have hundreds of miles of bike paths. Well, in New Hampshire, they had similar paths, but they were walking paths. You weren't allowed to have any wheels on them at all. So if you rode a bike on them, you got a ticket for that. We got a ticket for that. They're bike paths now, because the Democrats said it was okay to make them bike paths now because so many people were getting in trouble and they made their money off the tickets, I guess. I don't know. It's just it's a whole nasty situation there. But East St. Louis, Illinois is a beautiful and safe. My aunt used to live on the east side of St. Louis in a little town called Marysville. She passed away quite a while ago. I had to go take care of some odds and ends and grab up the guns that were there and haul them over to Joplin where I was living. Let's see. What else we got going on here? Xana, I learned that from watching the documentary. Oh, okay. You guys are talking about the dog food stuff or the pet food. How long have you been on the carnivore diet? Well, I did look that up. It was, I believe I started the carnivore diet last September, so approximately 7 months. I've been doing some form of carnivore, and I'm becoming a whole lot more strict. Once in a while, I might have a moment where if I'm craving pizza, I do have some frozen backup pizzas. These are mainly just for emergencies, and those emergencies tend to happen on the weekend. Now, these are cauliflower crust pizzas. They are keto friendly. They're not on the carnivore diet, but if I should have, a horrible, horrible pizza craving, and I was a pizza addict before, I will cook up one of those and it will be gone. It'll be done. Just beautiful, done deal, over. So, and those are, like I said, they're for emergency purposes because you get me around a pizza and leave me alone with a pizza, it could be dangerous. So yeah, that's just why I have cauliflower crust pizzas. Now I haven't been able to, find like a carnivore, chicken crust type pizza that I could actually just have frozen and ready for those cases. So, but that's another option too, is a chicken crust pizza that I've made. And I do have a video in my playlist about, I have a keto lasagna that I made. That was really good. That's actually made with turkey meat. I overdid it. That was back when I was like a horrible glutton for food. So I added way too much sauce. I had too much meat. There was too much cheese going on there. It was a mess, but it was still keto friendly. That's why I got away from the keto type diet, because there were so many options that they were pretty great options. They were tempting options, but they were also options that were not so great in the keto diet that would actually reverse ketosis. So it's like polar opposite of what you're trying to do when you're learning about, weight loss and stuff. But when you're learning, I guess you got to just take the good with the bad. You're just learning how ketosis works. You're experimenting with different types of keto type foods. Everybody's going to have a different reaction to different foods. I found out over time in elimination that I'm super sensitive to a lot of different foods and vegetables specifically. I had no idea that a lot of the vegetables that I was eating were damaging me. They were hurting me. Some were creating kidney stones and aches and pains and arthritis, all a result of certain specific types of vegetables that I've eliminated since then. Okay, Xana, if you're gone now, I'm sorry to see you go, but I understand we all have a life. Did you live in Joplin during the tornado? No, I did not, Roy. That was the tornado that almost killed my son and one of my exes. They were in the Joplin Walmart at that time, and the roof caved in, and there was a whole bunch of drama going on there. The funny thing was my ex's Dodge Durango that she bought with all the child support money that I sent, because at that time I was up here in Alaska, and they wanted I was a little bit in the rears because of just moving up here on my child support. So they gave her like a $4,000 something child support payment, and she went out and bought. She's like, spent it all on this Dodge Durango, and I don't believe she had insurance for it. And the tornado lifted it up and just slammed it down to the ground. And she sent me a picture with a big X, because after they cleared all the vehicles in the parking lot, they spray painted an X on them. And she sent me that picture, and then she was like demanding more money so she could go out and buy another car. And I'm like, hey, whoa, I just paid you like $4,000 something. What happened to it? Yeah, it's a crazy story. I mean, whatever. I mean, I'm just so glad to be done with that one. Let's see. Instead of cauliflower, I do chicken crust pizza. I do have the recipe, Peter. I appreciate that. I've actually made it on camera, and I have a video about that. It is nice. It's super easy to make, but you have to have the ingredients on hand, which is super helpful. Now I've made it with the crust with the Parmesan cheese, and I also tried another attempt at it without the Parmesan cheese, and I just used the mozzarella cheese in the crust. It was a little bit softer crust. It did come out pretty close to the same. But and it was good. It was good. Very filling. So pizza crust pizza, a carnivore crust pizza, which is made out of chicken. It's basically like 3 ingredients. So you got chicken in a can. You can get rotisserie chicken, but it's about 2 to 3 cups of chicken. And then you add that to a bowl with 1 or 2 eggs. And the eggs is kind of like a binder. And then you put in a little bit of cheese. And the cheese, once it melts into the crust, it creates an actual pizza crust, and it's very filling. Like 2 pieces of that pizza was filling. It filled me up. Unlike traditional pizza, where I could eat the entire pizza and then another pizza and then some more pizza 20 minutes later, I wasn't tempted to come back and eat like the entire pizza or 30 slices of pizza. People died in that Walmart. I didn't hear about that, Roy, but it doesn't surprise me. I know there were people in the parking lot when those vehicles were getting lifted up and slammed down, and there was a mess. There's a little phenomenon that happens in the Midwest that most people don't know about, unless, of course, you live in the Midwest and you've experienced this for yourself. But we had these things that just happen randomly there, and they're called microbursts, and it's just where cold air meets the warm air. And then all of a sudden it just kind of like scrambles up everything, and then it's gone. It's like that. So there's no indication as far as clouds or weather patterns. There's no way to track when these things are going to happen. But I'd just be driving down the road, and all of a sudden there's like a washer and dryer in front of me, and windows are blowing out, and my car's all covered in crap. And then it's gone. And then it's like, what the heck was that? And sometimes these microbursts would hit like lumber yards and stuff like that. Even up here in Alaska, I've seen some. Once in a while, because we do have that kind of activity, but it happened down towards the Anchorage port. So the cold air was coming off the ocean, and the warm air was coming off of Anchorage, like down into the low spot. And then once it mixes up, it creates this whirlwind type effect. And that happened at the Insul foam yard, and they make the insulated foam board. it got in there, and it was a Sunday. Nobody was around. So I could imagine what these people would have thought when they came to work the next day, because it threw everything up in the air. We're talking 100 feet in the air, and it was just dropping it straight down when it was done. It was so dramatic. Time for a nap, Felix. Snooze. Okay, what's going on? I'm just about to fall asleep while listening to the stream. Well, I apologize, Felix, if I'm being bored today. Oh, Felix, what part of the country are you in? Are you still here? Are you in the country, or are you outside? I believe you said so before, where you were from. You don't have to be specific. I'm not looking for a home address. Just looking for what part of the world you're from, because we got people from all over the place. Denmark, that's right. Okay, I think you mentioned that yesterday. My apologies. I forgot. Felix is in Denmark. I think it's bedtime for him over there, huh? Hope you get a good rest, and absolutely drop in, whenever. I don't know what time it is in Denmark. But right now here in Anchorage, Alaska, it is a little bit after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Be time to go pick up the kids before long and get out and go for a walk, because it's absolutely beautiful. It's 12 o'clock. Midnight. Okay, so it's midnight in Denmark right now. And here it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Very cool. Awesome. 6 p.m. in Massachusetts. I have my mom, my adopted mom, lives in New Hampshire. She lives in a little town called Hooksett, New Hampshire. So yeah, I got to deal with the time difference trying to call her. I usually wind up calling her when she's in bed. This steak is really cold now, and I think my cat's back. She wants some. I'll give her a bite of this one. Okay, you have to show off. There you go. Show your head. Nobody will believe me unless you're on camera. There you go. She took a little bite. Crazy. I grew up outside of Kansas, and our farm was hit in the 1960s. And I saw 2 other ones. I moved to Wisconsin to escape them. I don't blame you. Then a year after I moved here, there was a tornado 30 miles away. Oh, crazy. And then Felix said, it's not that your streams are boring, it's just really comfy and informative. Well, I appreciate you saying that, Felix. I don't mind. I know I'm going to bore somebody out there. That's why there's like 10,000 million people out here, creating content on YouTube, because not everybody's going to want to hear my voice. Some people might see my face and be like, ooh, I don't like that guy. He's got cats. He's got cats that's on the table. And why is he feeding cats while he's eating? I've had those comments before. I've had people actually unsubscribe from the channel because my cats ran across the countertop and it wasn't okay to them. And I'm like, it's my house. Leave me alone. Stop being a bully. And I don't even think they knew what they were doing. They were just like so offended that I had cats. And I was like, well, that's too bad. I don't like running people off, but it's just like, well, it's my house. I'm gonna have cats running around. So does anybody else have a salt shaker like this? So this cap goes on top here, but they make this in such a way that when it comes off and it's setting on a flat surface, it's impossible. Get up. Who's this guy? Oh, got a neighbor.
No, no one lives here by that name.
Oh, it's a female.
Who's he looking for?
Who?
Bee.
No.
She got out of his trailer yesterday.
Okay, somebody looking for somebody, I don't know who. Okay. It's weird. That's like the second time this month we've had random people just show up.
He said some lady came out of this trailer yesterday that he's looking for.
No ladies came out of this trailer. And I don't think it was yesterday. We had this random older lady that showed up here looking for a specific trailer and a number. And I told her, I said, ma'am, I don't know. I said, you're going to have to go down to the office and ask them for a map to tell you, because we got, our lot number and then a letter after it. She gave me some random thing. And I'm like, I don't know where that is. I don't live on that street. I live on this street. But yeah, interesting. Maybe he's thinking of the trailer next door over there at the where they do weird, nefarious type things. That might have been where that person came from. Let's see. My cats are are polite unless I have chicken. Then they get murder in their eyes if I don't feed them. That's a funny story there, Roy. I had some cats when I was younger. My roommate at the time fed the cats some turkey meat. I think it was raw turkey meat before the turkey went in the oven. And as soon as that dang turkey came out of the oven, those cats were like claws out, fangs out. They were attacking. They destroyed that turkey. And I was like, wow, let's never do that again. That was horrible. But yeah, what oven temp and time for that recipe? Let's see, you talking about the chicken crust recipe? I would have to go back and look at it myself. I think I put it in the description section what I did, but I'm not 100% sure because I wasn't very in tune to building a description section on the video back then. I think I might have, but I was real piss poor at it because I was like early on in my weight loss journey where not everything up here was working. That's the whole beautiful thing about the carnivore diet is everything works. It makes sense. I tend to go back and fix my mistakes now, and I haven't gone that far back because I made a lot of mistakes when I built videos and stuff like that on YouTube. So, and they really do try to nail down, informative type stuff in description sections. So and if there's not enough information there, they don't tend to circulate that stuff as much. But if I were to guess, I would say approximately 375. And 425 can work. But I used to put I used to make the pizza crust, and then I would put it in the oven for 15, 20 minutes or so, maybe 17 minutes. And that's just to let the crust set up. And so the Parmesan cheese and the egg and the chicken would all actually combine. And I do that on my big cast iron plate. You can do it on a pizza pan too. But what you're doing there is you're just literally drying out the wet ingredients, which is the eggs and the chicken, and then the cheese is kind of melting it in there, and that way it creates a binder and actually makes a crust. And then when you take it out, I just put my pizza toppings on after that, and then I put my cheese or whatever sauce you want on it, and it works pretty good. I mean, it's pretty decent. I see a little bit lag there in the camera, so hopefully that came out. Let's see, needs more forward facing sonar. Oh my goodness. Thanks, Peter. Right on. Okay, so hopefully Donna got the answer she was looking for. But now that's just for the crust, Donna. So that's not for the whole pizza. So once it comes out, you build your pizza on top of that, and then you put it in for an additional time until your other ingredients are cooked all the way through. Let's see. I reheat my carnivore pizza in the air fryer. Works great. Yeah, I need to make some more of that. I need to get some more Parmesan. So the Parmesan works great for building a carnivore crust pizza. With the chicken, just the harder type cheese, Asiago cheese, I believe that'll work too. But you want to have that harder type cheese. You mix that in your crust, and that way it just creates a real nice binder. As a truck driver who has apparently driven all over, where is the worst part of America to drive? I hear Atlanta is pretty bad. I didn't mind Atlanta, Georgia, because when you're riding around the belt, I mean, it's a pretty constant flow, and most of those people, they're driving really fast because they don't get a lot of bad weather down there. So most of them are driving way too fast. They know how to blend well, unlike Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas is a madhouse because you have so many different people from all over the world that come in through Houston. It's really hard to negotiate the traffic because you get some people that don't drive fast, other people that drive way too fast, and then you have the regular truck traffic. So it's really hard to negotiate places like Houston, Texas. I've driven, New York City. I had no problem because I grew up in New Hampshire. I'm used to the narrow lanes. I'm used to the low bridges, stuff like that. So I knew that neck of the woods anyway. So it was easy to get around. Even Chicago wasn't bad when I was in Chicago because I knew where all the low bridges were because I spent a period of time there in Lombard. So I had a chance to get out and survey the area. I already knew where stuff was, and I wasn't even driving a truck back then, but when I started driving a truck, it was a breeze because I could just get off the highway when it was jammed up. And the nice thing about the back roads in Chicago is that everything's regulated by a traffic light, so you're moving. So no matter what, you're going to be moving. They don't get a real nasty gridlock like New York City does. So I was always able to get my deliveries made on time or just get out to the other end of the city on time. But I think I think if I could pick a worse place to drive, that would be most likely going into some of the Southern California type cities like Los Angeles or what else is there? There's something else down there. I've really tried to delete the bad experiences from California out of my brain because I had such a bad time every time I went to California. For one, they got split speed limits. And then two, the DOT and the state police, they are just out to get you. They just want to make money off you and get you out of their state. I mean, they don't care that you're bringing in products that they can't make or manufacture themselves. They don't care. They're just there to make money off the trucks. And that's pretty sad. Let's see. Thank you for the recipe. All right. Have you ever been, Peter G thing, that skipped. Have you ever been elsewhere besides America? I did drive through Canada. That was a fun trip, but I drove through Canada mainly just to get up here. As a kid growing up in New Hampshire, we weren't far from the Canadian border. And I can't remember at what age you were allowed to drink in Canada. We used to cross the border, before the age of 21, and we go drinking in Canada and then turn around and come back and sleep on this side of the border after we were stupid, drunk. But I did drive through Mexico a little bit, down by the Laredo, Texas. But yeah, not a whole lot of truck driving outside. I wanted to drive truck in Hawaii. That was one of my main goals, is wanting to drive a truck in Hawaii. That was one of the only states in the United States I haven't driven. I missed out on a chance of that because I was so morbidly obese. I couldn't hardly fit in a plane seat. I had the money to go do it, but I'm married with children too, so I can't just up and say, I'm going to go to Hawaii and I'm going to go drive trucks for 3 months and help out this person or anything like that. So I missed out on that. Maybe someday. It's still on the bucket list. It's not something I have to do. YouTube videos on carnivore pizza. Yeah, there's a ton of videos on carnivore pizza. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's a very good save you type situation. But if you can actually, now my problem with it is it takes time to make it. Especially during the time I was having a hard time with pizza and transitioning to carnivore, is that a lot of the carnivore food takes a lot of time. Now, a lot of our addiction type eating was because food was so easy. It takes me, 2 seconds to pick up a phone and just dial it and say, hey, I want a pizza delivered. And then, a little bit, the pizza shows up. There's literally no mental preparation or effort into that. So once you start getting involved in even a keto, carnivore type lifestyle, you're starting to actually have to prepare these foods for yourself, because if you want the better foods, you're going to be making them yourself. Even cooking meat, it takes a little time. You got to clean some space. You got to make sure things are, prepared correctly. Your temperatures are right. Your dishes are clean, which is stuff you don't normally do when you're just ordering something fast, Uber Eats or DoorDash. You just don't think about it. So transitioning out of the easy life took me some time. It took me a lot of time, especially during the pandemic. Man, we screwed up ourselves with the pandemic, especially when DoorDash started taking off. Grubhub. It was so easy to get if it wasn't already easy enough to go through a drive-through, they made it easier by making the crap food appear at your door magically. Texas wasn't bad on I-10. I used to like running I-10, mainly because I drove a really fast truck. I mean, I'm not even gonna brag about how fast this semi went, but we could cruise along through there, and sometimes we'd get in packs of about 10 of us, and we'd be cruising along through there. That when we come over a rise and see a state trooper, you'd see his lights just flash for a second, and then he'd just shut them off, and we'd just keep motoring through. And we weren't going anywhere close to the speed limit, because at that time it was they had a split speed limit at that time. I don't know if they fixed that in Texas, but I think the speed limit at that time was something like 50 or 60 miles an hour for trucks, and then it was like 70 or something like that for cars. And we weren't having it that day. We were getting to the other side because we had stuff to do. But yeah, we blew on through Texas in lightning speed that time. Check, see what else did I miss. Okay. Donna, I prefer to use the harder type cheese for the that's just for the pizza crust. You can use whatever cheese you want on top of that. But for the pizza crust, it worked out well with the harder type cheese. And you can get those in those little containers already shredded if that's how you like it, or you can shred it yourself. That works pretty good too. All right. You're done, buddy. No, not done yet. I got a little bit longer to go. Well, I was thinking about cutting the stream off here before long, because not a lot going on in the comments. That's what makes these live streams fun, is we have a lot of conversations back and forth about whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Usually a good time, just hanging out, eating some good food. Favorite chicken recipe. Now, I haven't really cooked a whole lot of chicken as far as recipes go. Lately, I have experimented with chicken wings. Now, they tend to work pretty good. In the air fryer, I like to pre-bake my chicken wings in the oven, and then I'll put them in Tupperware until later, and then I can reheat them in the air fryer, and it's just super easy. But I've been experimenting with several different ways of the dry seasoning and type rubs and stuff like that on the chicken wings. So I don't have a really solid way of saying that, yeah, this is the way I do it. Let's see, the crust. Okay, you asked that question again. So the chicken crust pizza is made from, the easiest way for me to do it is just by canned chicken. So it's 2 of those cans in a large mixing bowl. And that's a little over a cup, or right around a cup of chicken. And then I'll add 1 to 2 eggs, depending on how you want it. 1 to 2 eggs, or the size of your eggs. And then I'll add about a handful of Parmesan cheese. And then you just get in there with your hands, put gloves on, or however you want to do it. You just incorporate every bit of it. And then once it's all incorporated, you just take everything out of the bowl, and I set it on my pan. And then I just start flattening it out with my hand, and I use my other hand to keep the round circle. And if you do it on a piece of parchment paper, it makes it a whole lot easier, because you just actually rotate it as you go. Push it out. Try to make it as even as possible all the way along. That way, when you go to preheat it and cook the crust, it just works out so much easier, so much better. Gonna have to pick up this mess. Oh. I gotta start picking up around here. I'm gonna have to get stuff going. Let's see. Ooh, making a mess. I think my wife's hiding in the other room. I'm not sure where she went. She's definitely not out here. She's probably watching a movie, taking a nap. We could go bug her. She'll probably get upset if I do that. Anybody want to see a native lady get upset at me? Let's see. I think I'm going to try that recipe with hamburger. Yeah, you can do it 101 different ways, Donna. That's the fun part. Hey there, Carnivore Scott. I appreciate you jumping in. We're getting towards the tail end of this live stream. But anytime you jump in, it's perfect. Oh, let's see. I'm going to try. So, yeah, you can pick whatever type of sauce you want to use. You can use butter. You can use, I don't care, use tomato sauce. I mean, you're not drowning the pizza in whatever you're doing. Some people have even said hot sauce. Now, before I used to use barbecue sauce or something like that. That would work pretty good. Never bug the woman. Oh, I see what's going on here. Take a look. Oh, hit the button again. There we go. See, this is what she's doing. We're going to sneak up on her. She's doing top secret YouTube stuff. Oh, see? Oh my God. I'm going to have to pay for that. One thing any YouTuber wife does not like is when the husband bugs them randomly and they're like in the middle of like a workflow, because we get these workflows, especially when editing, that we know exactly where we're at. We know what we're going to do next. And then all of a sudden somebody comes in like me or a random kid and just throws us completely off. And we're just like, we don't know where we left off. And then we got to re-preview the entire video and make sure everything's aligned. And it's a pain in the butt. It's kind of like building a puzzle and somebody takes away an important puzzle piece and you just can't finish it. All right, dog. You got your stuff. Go outside. Oh, you know what I should do? Yeah, we can do this. Wait a second. I got my fat cat right here. You guys don't know my fat cat. Oh, some of you do. We're going to do this because this is what my cat's been dying for. Uh-huh. Yeah, this is a good idea. Okay. So, this harness used to be for the cat. You guys saw eating the meat there a little bit ago. But this cat has been, oh, she popped right up. She's like, oh, Dad's got the harness out. Come here. Come on, you want to go out? Come on. Look what I got. Molly's not going out. You can go out. You're trained. You want to go outside? The sun's shining. Come on. She's usually pretty quick about this. I'm going to give her a second. All right, I'm going to have to get her up here. Come here, you. You're so big and heavy. Ugh. All right, let's get you dressed. I never thought I'd be doing this right now. Here we go. There we go. All right. This is precarious. Oh, I got to get this thing set up right. Uh-huh. Then I got to put the one paw through here. Then I got to take this one and wrap it under. It's hard to put a harness on a cat that's gained so much weight. Now, when I started losing weight, when I first started losing weight, this was the demanding kitty, and she would like sit on the table and force me to put this harness on her. Actually, it was a smaller harness, and then we'd go outside for walks. And we're talking a 435-pound man putting a harness on the fluffy butt here, and she's all ready to go. By the way, she's all harnessed up. We're gonna give this a shot. We're gonna take her outside and let her walk for a little bit because, yay, we do stuff. And all right, so she is the star of the show, and this is my cat Gray Bear, by the way. Yeah, she's absolutely the star of this, and we're gonna take her outside for a little wander. Hey, and she knows how to do all this stuff. Now she's got her harness on, so she's ready to go. Let's go. Come on. How cute is that? She's like, okay, let's go. We're going for a walk, Dad. Now this cat has been begging to go outside for like a month, but it's been so cold and miserable out here. Is that as far as you want to go? Sometimes she won't go too far. But she has a hard time outside some days when it's really, really cold or really, really wet. She doesn't like it that much. This cat's name is Gray Bear. We got it as a very, very tiny kitten. Really malnourished. We found it under a trailer home just across the street. And she's been one of the best cats. Like I said, she's the one that got my weight loss journey kind of kick-started. Because she wanted me to come out here and actually do stuff with her. What is that white stuff on the ground? That is a lot of snow. There's some dog poop mixed right there. There's some poop right there. That's from this thing over here. And that's Sadie. Sadie likes to poop right in front of the door. But there's our iconic shed that I use in a lot of my intros. That shed looked really cool when it was all covered in snow. Come on, let's go back this way. Come on, let's go walk back this way. Whoa. You gotta avoid all the doggy bombs. I have to get my son out here to clean up this yard again. Come on. You wanna go for a walk? You haven't been out in forever. I've been neglecting you because it's been too cold. Where do you wanna go? Are you done? Sometimes she doesn't want to stay out for very long. Let's see. Do the neighbors get mad that the dog poops outside? No, they don't. They don't get mad at all because we clean it up. And around this time of year, this is breakup, so we actually clean up all the poop, and then we make it, kid friendly. And the way these homes are set up, like this is considered our yard. And then the neighbors have the other side of the house, and they use that as their yard. I mean, we can go on either side of the house, but if we're going to do family stuff, we're going to do it on this side of the house. And same goes for the other side. We don't do family stuff on their side of the house, even though we do grow some vegetables over there. The wife grew some sunflowers a couple summers ago. She had a lot of sunflowers over there. And those are crazy. When they grow in Alaska, they get up to like, 10 feet tall. And at the end of the season, when the sunflowers were all spent and done, it sucked because it was like trying to get rid of trees, like small trees you just planted. So yeah, let's head back on in. Let's go. Ugh. Now, if you ever try to train a cat on a leash like this, you can lift them up forward, kind of like that. But the last thing you want to do is try to pull straight. Like when she's facing that way, it's okay to pull like this. But if you're on the other side and you're pulling straight, you can pull any cat out of their harness like really fast. These things are liquid. They tend to come right out of the harness. Come on. We're going to head back into the house. Let's go. All right. We're going to jog. Oh, she's running. Ugh. Okay. There we go. Whoa. That was dramatic landing. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. We're going to go in. I think she just wants to chill out. My dog definitely wants to go inside. I have to open the door. There we go. Come on. Ooh, you're getting so big. Let's head back in. Ugh. Now this cat here, I've actually taken him out on his own harness, which is her old harness. Up, up. Hey, up, up. Let's get you undressed. Come on. Let's see. What is the worst thing about living in Alaska? I don't know what the worst thing would be. The politicians. If I would have a worst, I would say the politicians are the worst thing about living in Alaska. I mean, people complain about police officers and state troopers and stuff like that, but those are people, typically forced to do their job. But these politicians here, they like to hide in Juneau, far, far away from people. So we can't, have conversations with them. The politicians here don't live with the rest of us. I mean, it's almost like a Hunger Games type situation that we have going on here. So yeah, the majority of them, they spend most of their time in Juneau doing politician type stuff. That's actually the worst part, I think, because there's a lot of insider trading that goes on in all politics. We know that. We live in a country that's been doing that forever. Nancy Pelosi taught everybody how to do it because she's amazing at it. I don't know why so many people think she's amazing, but yeah, let's not talk about politics because I started that conversation. That was a bad idea. Let's see. It's funny that the places really reminds of Greenland, environmentally speaking. I do think so. I think there's some similarities. Definitely. Hey, John, I'm heading out because I've got some things to do. I appreciate you, Donna. You take care. I probably should end this stream now. We're an hour and a half in. I appreciate everybody that jumps in here and joins in and gets involved in the conversation. It just makes it a lot of fun. Let's see. Someone says, come on, Trump. I wouldn't be too upset if Trump came in, but he is now, he's officially a politician now. He's better seasoned now than he was the first go around. And he's only got one more chance at, either making it better or screwing it up. So then one thing's for sure, the way we have our political system set up here in the United States, it's set up the way it is specifically, and that's to appease the masses, regardless if it's Republicans or Democrats or independents. It's set up in a way that no matter what, you're only going to have a Democrat for so long, and then you're going to go back and forth. You're going to have Republicans for a while. It'll make all the Republicans happy for a little while. Then all of a sudden you'll have another Democrat, make the Democrats happy for a little while. Nothing really ever gets done. Nothing ever gets accomplished, on the grand scheme of things. Granted, some of them do some things that are beneficial. Even Obama had a couple good ideas. I didn't like him because he had a lot of bad ideas. He started taxing people for, you know, if you don't have health care, he started giving people taxes, and that people were affected up here, you know, from the Obamacare plan. It was sad. I mean, you know, close friends of mine, because if you were in that category of people that could make money and actually go out to work, but you didn't make enough money to afford your own health care, you were penalized. You had to, since when did we start taxing people for not being able to afford stuff, but you're making too much money, you can't get assistance. So now you're going to be punished and pay an additional tax. That was a problem. That was one of my problems. All right, you take care, Donna. I appreciate you there. Let's see, have you seen the Civil War movie that's out right now? I have not. Do you know the name of that movie? I can go check it out soon. It sounds like a fun watch. I'm currently stuck in a whole perpetual loop of watching what is that, Lost in Space. I haven't completed Lost in Space yet, so I think I'm on season 3, and there's like 6 overall seasons in there. That's a lot. But one thing that I don't like about Netflix anymore is that they've created so many of these really awesome TV series you can watch, but then when you get to the end of it, you find out that they canceled it. And I guess Netflix has a lot of problems with their contracts and the way they pay people. So, you know, they'll get involved with Netflix because they're in a pinch, and then all of a sudden they'll have contract issues, and then they'll cancel the entire freaking next season. And that's so disappointing because, you know, they leave you with a cliffhanger. I mean, it's just like an author, you know, that just decides, well, I'm not going to write the book anymore, but I got everybody going. Let's see, it scares me because I feel like it's right around the corner. Civil War. Well, I wouldn't be worried about a civil war. If it happens, it happens. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't matter. I mean, us up here in Alaska, I don't see anything like that ever happening up here because, like I've said this before, this is the most diverse population that we have. We got people from everywhere that live here, and we all get along great. You don't see people from America fighting with Russians. You don't see Russians fighting with Ukrainians. You don't see any arguments, hardly at all. I mean, we got Samoans, we got Hawaiians that live here. We got people from all parts of Asia. Asia's a big place, by the way. There's tons of different little communities and populations. We got Samoans that live here. I think I said that already. I was thinking Somalians that live here. Every race, every thing you could possibly think of, every religion, we all live here. We all get along. That's one of the selling points for immigrants that come here to this country, is they like to come here. And quite often, if they have like refugee type situations, they'll send them out to Palmer. And most people don't know that. So they send a lot of these people to Palmer, and they work in the farms out there. And we have a lot of farms, and not Palmer, well, Palmer too, I guess. But they send them to Point McKenzie, which is right across the water from Anchorage. Now, there's a lot of farms in Point McKenzie. They send them up north to Glen Allen. They work in the farms up there. And that's basically just get their roots set in the country and get them, you know, employed, get them making money, getting them some experience here in the United States, and then they move elsewhere. Sometimes they come into Anchorage. Sometimes they move to lower 48. Witcher, the name is The Witcher. I'll check that out. Let's see, what is your favorite car? Right now, you know, for years, it was, I love my Volkswagens. I really, really loved Volkswagens, but that was when I lived on the East Coast. I lost my love for Volkswagens. I still like the cars. I just lost my love for wanting to own a Volkswagen once I moved to Alaska. Because when I lived in New Hampshire, you could find VW Beetles and buses and Volkswagen Rabbits and Jettas and GTIs everywhere. And the parts were cheap. They were easy to fix. We could afford them when I was young. And they were just fun to tinker on. And then I got a Volkswagen Passat, and I always dreamed about owning a Volkswagen Passat when I lived up here. And I bought that, and that was a big mistake. I mean, the stupidest little thing, like a distributor, it was like $500 or $600 to replace a distributor. I was crushed. And then the plug wires, again, another $500 or $600 for spark plug wires. I'm like, that is ridiculous. So I've got out of the Volkswagens. I have since gotten into the wife likes her Jeep. I got my own Jeep. I love driving that thing. It's a little tiny Jeep Wrangler. It's super fun to drive. It's got that old. It's newer, but it's got that older type feel. So it's not like a CJ. It's closer to. It is a TJ, I believe. It's what it's called. But it's just fun to drive. It does have that old feel. Let's see. Can you still claim land up in Alaska, you can, but there's stipulations on that. I looked into the homesteading, and it's called homesteading. All the accessible land, which is stuff that you can drive to, has long since been taken up. Now, if you wanted to homestead property here in Alaska, they can give you a parcel that might be way out in the middle of nowhere. I'm talking way out in the middle of nowhere. There's like going to be no freaking roads or access to it. And then you're responsible for making a minimum of one upgrade per year to that property. And you have to document whatever the upgrade is. You could build a shed, you could dig a well, you could put a basic structure, you could do some clearing or something like that, but it has to be documented and provable that you went out there and actually did something to that land. That's just all part of the homesteading. I think it's clause, rules, regulations. But it's not just like you can get a piece of chunk of property unless you got a helicopter or a way to get out there. It's going to be inaccessible. You were having fun sliding around on the neighborhood roads the other day. Well, when I was sliding around on the neighborhood roads the other day, I was a little bit concerned when I was up there on hillside, because when I was sliding, it was because there was a car coming in that one instance. In the other instance, there was actually a pedestrian coming down the hill, and I couldn't stop. So it could have been bad. The pedestrian incident, she was smart enough to see that I was sliding down the hill. I could have honked my horn, but in previous years, almost all of my cars, none of them had horns. Even a lot of the big trucks that we drive up here at times don't have horns that work. So honking the horn is just one of those things that kind of slipped my mind. Watch out for the mailman. Yeah, you don't want to be getting messed up with them. I feel sorry for some of them. It's a hard job. Being a mailman in Alaska is a tough job, because when it's so cold and miserable out, you don't want to go outside. They got to be out there. They're delivering mail to they have to open and close their door every time they deliver mail to somebody. So in a little tiny cab, it's just cold and miserable. Where's your Rolex? Don't have one. I used to have one a long time ago. That was about the time when I got this tattoo. Now, I got this tattoo when I was 16 years old, and a guy gave it to me back in high school. And then I always wore a watch. My parents didn't even know I had a tattoo until I was almost like 19 or 20 years old. It was, I think, the first time they saw my tattoo. They're like, "Oh, I didn't even know you had a tattoo." I was like, "Yeah, I've been hiding it since I was 16. They were kind of surprised. Like, "Wow, you kept it from us that long. That's amazing." Are there a fair amount of African Americans in Anchorage? There's a decent amount. It's not like other places I've lived in the country, like Chicago on the south side, or New Hampshire. When I grew up in New Hampshire, the whole racism thing always confused me, because growing up in New Hampshire, I didn't really experience racism like it was talked about in the movies. It was kind of a mystery to most of us growing up on that side of the country for a long time. Now, we did have the intertwined battles between the Italians and the Greeks, and they were often fighting about property, restaurant ingredients, and stuff like that. They always had, and the Greeks and the Italians own a lot of that East Coast type neighborhoods and stuff like that, like centers and town squares. They own a lot of the property there. So there were those battles. But yeah, racism and stuff like that was always one of those weird things. And I think it was in high school, like early in high school, where I met one of the first black students I ever met in my life. I was like, wow, I'm pretty sure I still remember his name. I'm not going to say it off the top of my head, but that was just weird. We didn't know any gay kids either, unless they were hiding in the closet. So everything, we were all like in the shelter about a lot of things new. So even Walmart, we didn't have a Walmart for a long time. We didn't have a Taco Bell. So it just seems weird, like how much New Hampshire East Coast life is built up. But yeah, Alaska, we do have literally everybody. This is the melting pot. Who would you rather I miss or see Ronaldo? I don't know what that means. Hello, Russia or Ukraine? I like them both, man. I got Ukrainian friends. I got Russian friends. Like I said, I work for a company called Geneva Woods. I was taking medical equipment to all of those people. They were both equally as interesting and informative. And it's a shame that we're not allowed to talk about what's going on over there, on either side. But I mean, it's okay for us to send trillions of dollars that way. I mean, I don't understand that. We're not allowed to talk about that stuff on YouTube because we get flagged. We get flagged and we get spanked in the pee-pee. Let's see. What the Inuit girls like. Well, my wife's kind of nice. I like her. The rest of the family is pretty interesting. Not sure what you mean besides that. Let's see. I do not mean to be racist. You just failed to mention them when you were talking about diversity. Yeah, we have literally, that's Putty Cat asking that. We have literally every type of person here that I could possibly imagine. I think I've met somebody from every corner of the world. China, Japan, and quite often, like in the summertime, we get these big tourist planes that come in here from all over the world. I remember when the pandemic was going on, because there was a lot of planes that were coming in from China and stuff like that, and they would be parked out on the runway. They weren't allowing the people to get on and off. And I'm not sure what happened there, because I do remember at one point where they were allowing people to, get off and go, because some of them live here. They were allowed to go home and stuff like that. But I mean, the pandemic was a tough time, especially when I was working across from the airport. I got to see everything coming and going. I also got to see, I think they were either Russian or Ukrainian planes. They're really huge planes. I think they must have been Ukrainian planes, but they were flying gold from Canada, and they would stop here in Anchorage on the way. They're really heavy, giant planes loaded with gold, and they were heading over to Ukraine loaded with gold. And this was before the war started. After the war got going, I think the Russians wound up destroying these massive planes that were just amazing to watch come and go. But they used to sit across the street from the post office, and they would sit there for, they'd have a layover sometimes, 3, 4, 5 days, and then they'd just disappear in the middle of the night. That's pretty interesting stuff. Let's see. Hello from Connecticut. Hey there, Vicky. I appreciate you jumping in. Alaska needs a professional sports team. The closest thing I think we have is a hockey team. I can't even remember the name of it because I don't follow hockey very much, but we have a hockey team. We do have some indoor football teams here in the Anchorage area because they have a little dome where they can play year round, and they do have some indoor teams. I was asked to be a player in one of those teams, and I was just like, I was just a big guy at that time. I wasn't in shape. I mean, I'm probably in better shape now than I was at that time. I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm going to get hurt. All right, guys, I am going to cut that stream here. Yeah, we're getting close to 2 hours. My battery's probably going to die anyways. But all right, guys. Yeah, if you're interested in Alaskan topics, I got some videos coming out. We're going to be going to the Anchorage, the most dangerous Anchorage hood here in Anchorage. I did a drive around through that neighborhood. I'm planning some other videos where we're going to be driving, in and around, talking about, what life's like. We're going to be showing some nature type stuff, and just see where it goes from there. We're just going to try to have a good time with it. I appreciate all the moderators as usually, Roy, you too, and everybody else that jumped in randomly. This is always a good time for me. I get to answer a lot of questions and hopefully help some people. If you're curious about losing weight, how I'm losing weight, how the carnivore diet works and stuff like that. That's stuff that I like to talk about. And, the discussion's open to anybody here, in these live streams. But I'm going to fumble around. We're going to hit that button. And I just want to say thank you and God bless every single one of you. And we will see you in the next one. Oh, there it is. I got to hit that button up there. And then I got to come over here and hit this button here. And I got to look like a fool, while I do this. And I might as well make it fun while I'm doing it. Okay. Bye-bye.